Right, let's have a look at this one. So question 3, 2013. From paper 1, the sets question in this case for diagrams 1 and 2 below, shade in the named region. So they're testing to see, do you understand the maths language given here. So again, remember there is a little section in the log tables that does some of the terminology. It'll at least help you to figure out the words, which may give you a little helping hand. So the first one is A intersection B intersection C. So what is the area of those three sets where they intersect with each other? Okay, so where does that set intersect with this set, intersect with this set? And what you'll find is it's the very center of it there, the right at the bud of that is where they intersect with each other. And it's the only place where all three circles intersect with each other. So just see as you're drawing out the three circles, just convince yourself that that's the case. That is where they intersect with each other. Okay, the next one then says A intersection B. Okay, that's in a bracket, so I have to do that first. And then it goes less C, okay, or difference C. But I prefer less C or not C, okay? So not C would be exactly that. So with my hand, with the palm of my hand, I lay it over so that there is no set C. If it says less C, then do it where there's no C. Because A intersection B would look like this. It's where the two circles intersect with each other. So there's A and there's B. Okay, so you can see the bit I've colored in blue is the overlap between the two circles. Okay, this line here is where C cuts in, but that's where they, so the bit in blue that I have drawn there is A intersection B. So what is the difference then when it's less C? Well, you cover up C. Okay, and if you start covering up C, you'll see that that piece disappears. Okay, so this is now A intersection B less C. Okay, so I hope that's okay. And the next part, the box on the right contains 6 statements. Note P dash is the complement of a set P. A number of statements are incorrect. Write down one incorrect statement. Okay, so not the most straightforward, this one, because it's abstract statements and you have to figure out which of them is wrong. Okay, well, the first one there, A union B is equal to B union C. So we were doing this in the 2015 question where we looked at the associative and distributive properties, and we concluded that it doesn't matter which way you do the unions. Okay, so the associative property means that A union B is the same as B union A. Okay, and look back over that recording if that's not clear for you. And the same here, it's just with 3 sets, but it's the same thing again, whether you do A union B first and then union it with C, you get the exact same answer as if you do B union C first and then union it with A. Okay, you can see all the time I'm following the rules of BOMDAS, you have to do what's in brackets first. Okay, and then we look down and it gets a little bit more confusing as to which of these is correct. Okay, the next part said draw a diagram or give an example to explain your choice. Okay, so it may be the case where it's easier for you to start drawing some diagrams. Okay, and you may not even know which ones are going to be easier. So for example, if I took part 3, okay, and I created 3 sets from that, okay, namely ABC. Can I figure out what this means? A not B in a bracket. So A less B, so there's A. Okay, now if I do less B, so B disappears. Can you see the part of A that's left? It's here. Okay, so let me highlight that for now. So that's A less B. Okay, so that is A less B. Okay, and you can see C doesn't even come into it at this stage. It's just A less B. Okay, now they're saying less C. Okay, so now take C out of it. okay? And you'll find this part of it disappears. Sorry, just got a tickle. Okay, so let me color him in. That to me is A less B less C. Okay, and we're wondering, is that equal to, we draw 3 more circles for this side of it, the right hand side, A less B less C. Well, let's have a look at B less C. So this is B less C. Okay, so that's B less C. So it's all of B, just not the part that's in C. Okay, and now I have to do the set A less B less C. So anything I coloured in blue has to be taken out, and this is A less B less C. Okay, so I have to take out this. And it's the rest of this. Okay, so I would argue that no, the pink bit there is not equal to the blue bit over there, okay? But it's quite a difficult one, so I'm not entirely sure, okay? So I'm going to leave it. I'm confident this is right, but it's not the most straightforward. So I'm going to look down. The next one looks a little bit difficult as well, but maybe it's not. And I'm going to come down to either one of these two because I've only got 2 sets. So let's look at number 5 because it only has 2 sets. Okay, so part 5, A less B. Okay, so let's draw our 2 sets, A and B. And the first one says A not B. Okay, so not B. So I'm colouring in A not B. Okay, over here is all of A, just not B. Okay, and I'm wondering, is that equal to? Let's do A and B again. And this side says all of B less A. So B, but not A. Okay, so they are clearly not equal. So you feel much more confident writing this one down, perhaps, and putting a tick there beside it as it's a diagram for your choice. Okay, and of course you could have done this with 4 or 6, it doesn't matter. I suppose I'm just showing you different ways that you might have to do a couple of them to figure out which one you're more confident in. Okay, the part C of that question then says a group of 38 students were asked if they had ever been to France or Spain. The number who had been to Spain only was 3 more than the number who had been to both countries. Twice as many had been to France as Spain. 4 students had been to either country. Okay, so we need our 2 sets. Our France and our Spain. We have a number of students who hasn't been to either country, so we need our universal set. Okay. And 4 had been to neither country. Okay, so 4 goes outside. Okay, so that was the easy part. After that, it gets a bit hard. Okay, so twice as many had been to France as Spain. Okay, so because there's no numbers here, we're going to be working with letters, with X's and so on. We'd like to keep it to just one letter so that we can solve it. So you might end up doing this. Twice as many have been to France as Spain. So you might have say, well, the number has been to Spain is X, so therefore the number has been to France is 2X. Okay, twice as many has been to France as Spain. Okay, so that makes sense for that line. Okay, and then I go to the line before it. The number who has been to Spain only, which is out here, was 3 more than the number who have been to both countries. So now what do we call both countries? Do we call both B? And then Spain only, B plus 3. The number who have been to Spain only was 3 more than the number who have been to both. Okay, now what happens if I fill them into the Venn diagram like this? Okay, so I have Spain, I have France, I have both, I have Spain only, and then France. To work out France only has to be whatever I've here, 2x minus the overlap. Okay, you have to always subtract that off it. Okay, and then I have to solve it to find out how many have been to both countries. Now, if you go back to the other question we did on the one that had x in it, if you can remember the question we did, it's a good bit back now. It was this one on the WhatsApp, question 6, 2017. Okay, when we did that x question, how did we solve it? Well, what we did was we added everything up. So that's France only, plus the overlap, plus Spain only, plus the 4 on the outside. And of course, it's equal to whoever was asked. Now, the problem with this is that I have 2 letters now. I have X's and B's. And when I have 2 letters, I can never solve it. Okay, so now I'm thinking the best strategy was probably not to call Spain and France X and 2X. Okay, maybe I should have started here. Okay, so maybe everything I did so far, it wasn't the right strategy. Okay, and this will happen you in your junior cert at higher level, and you have to be okay that it is perfectly okay to make mistakes. Just put a line under it. Don't scribble it out in case it's right, okay, because you could get partial marks for it. Just put a line through it. Do not typex it out, okay, and just continue. Okay, so let's do it again. So let's do France and Spain again. And let's draw my universal set. Okay, so France and Spain again, and my universal set. And of course, the 4 is still on the outside. Okay, so the number who had been to Spain only was 3 more than the number who had been to both countries. So let's try starting here and see what happens. So Spain only and both. So Spain only is 3 more than the number who had been to both countries. So whatever had been to both countries, instead of calling it B now, I'm going to call that one X. And the number who had been to both is X. Let me read that again. The number of people who have been to Spain only is 3 more than the number who have been to both countries. Okay, let's try and put these in. Okay, now can I work out what goes over here in France in the context of X? So rather than get a new letter, can I figure out how many is going to France in terms of X? Well, we know twice as many have been to France as Spain. So how many Spain has been to Spain in total? Okay, well, as you know, you need to add what's in the full circle of Spain. So it's x plus 3, or it's 2x plus 3. Okay, so that's Spain total. So twice as many had been to France as Spain. So therefore, France total must be twice what we got for Spain. So 4x plus 6. So that's France total, okay, not France only, but France total. So see the way we've an x in already? To get who has been to France only, you have to subtract off that x that's in already. So it's 4x plus 6 minus the x that's there already. Okay, so we have 3x plus 6. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. What we do then is we solve for x. Okay, find out how many we had been to both countries. So if we add them all up, so I have 3x plus 6 plus x plus 3. Don't forget the 4 on the outside. And let it equal to the 38 students that were asked in the first place. So let's add them up. I have 3x, 4x, 5x. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so numbers to one side, letters to the other. I can't count, look at that, because I didn't divide in evenly, so I figure I made a mistake somewhere. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So apologies, I can't count. So subtract 13 then from both sides. So I get 5x being equal to 25. Okay, divide both sides by the number in front of x, and I get x being equal to 5. Okay, so in other words, 5 goes in there. 5 and 3 is 8, goes out here. 3 5s are 15 and 6 is 21, goes out there. Okay, so then let's see if some of the statements are correct. Does it add up to 38 is my first question. Well, 21 and 8 is 29. And 5 is 34 and 4 is 38. Okay, so everything there adds up to 38, that's good. Is there 3 more in Spain only than there is in both? Correct. That's good. Now, has twice as many been to France as Spain? Well, how many has been to Spain? 8 and 5 is 13. How many has been to France? 21 and 5, 26. And 26 is twice 13. So happy days, that one is good. So that's that question.